Byron Donalds reminds us all of a very important lesson. There is no mercy in this dojo.
Governor, you're wrong. You need to apologize to these agents. They're doing their jobs. They are Americans. They serve this country with honor and decency and respect. Do not diminish their work simply because you tried to make a cheap point that you could tweet.
Chair, I recognize Mr. Donalds from Florida.
Thank you, Chairman. To piggyback off my colleague, Governor Pritzker, how much does the state of Illinois spend on illegal immigration every year?
Again, illegal immigration, that's a federal responsibility. They could tell how much is wasted as a result of their failures.
Governor, don't you keep track of how many people are on your Medicaid rolls, how many people who are illegal immigrants in the state of Illinois who are getting actually benefits in your state? Doesn't your government keep track of that?
They don't get Medicaid in Illinois or any state as far as I know.
Governor Pritzker, you do not keep track of any public service dollars in the state of Illinois that goes to illegal immigrants or goes to people in your state who are not legal residents of the United States and of the state of Illinois. You don't keep track of that.
We absolutely keep track of our budget. We're very closely, and in fact, it's been balanced for 7 years in a row, unlike the Republican before me. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I noticed that in the state of Illinois, you guys don't really keep track of your money, because I asked your mayor in Chicago similar question about a month ago, and he didn't have an answer. It was quite interesting. I think this might be an Illinois problem. Governor Hochul, in your state, you are spending about roughly $4 billion on illegal immigration. And at the same time, you are actually asking the federal government for $4 billion to finish Penn Station. Don't you think it would be better to stop funding illegal immigrants in your state and actually use those resources to finish Penn Station as opposed to coming to the federal government for the money?
Penn Station is owned by Amtrak, not by the state, so it's an appropriate use of their dollars, and Donald Trump has agreed to spend upwards of $7 billion. I appreciated that very much. What we spend on immigrants, the immigrants who are here hardworking to live a life and working on our farms and taking care of our parents.
Also stealing Social Security numbers. She's not going to mention that, so I will.
Nursing homes and taking care of our children. They have been coming here for 400 years. And we don't keep track of individuals based on their status. We make sure that people have services so we don't end up with an unexpected.
So essentially what you're telling me is that you keep no track of money that is going to people who are not legal in the United States, resources that are taken away from New Yorkers, resources that are taken away from Illinoisans. You guys do not keep track of any of this.
You know what's really challenging is that many people came here with legal status. I mean, temporary protective status, 300,000.
All of
a sudden they wake up one day and it's gone.
Do you go along with the strategy from the Biden administration, which massively expanded immigration protocols that overwhelmed your city and overwhelmed your state? Do you agree with that?
We call for secure borders. We call for this body to
I never
do its
remember
job.
you calling for secure borders at all, Governor Hochul.
We certainly have.
That
we
doesn't
certainly
sound
have.
like him to my memory.
She just literally called for the opposite of it. She was like, they've been coming here for 400 years. They're good serving people. And again, these people are going to forget the fact that people are coming over here stealing Social Security numbers, stealing your identity, using that, and then getting services underneath that name and that identity, also even making fake Social Security. I mean, it is unbelievable how he has got these people trapped. She literally just said, we don't care. We support giving them. All we care about is making sure the illegal immigrants, because all of them are hardworking. None of them are, I don't know, gang members who are trafficking humans and then murdering people.
Many conversations I had with the White House, and we asked for federal resources. I mean, you're putting a federal problem on our laps, and you know what? It gets old after a while. I wish you would just do your job.
If your party actually would do the job of securing the nation the way President Trump has now had to do twice, we wouldn't be in this predicament. Wouldn't you agree? Do you agree or disagree that securing the nation's borders is the job of the President of the United States? President Trump has done that job twice now.
Well,
and previous Democrat presidents have not done that job. Wouldn't you agree with that?
this has been a problem that's been in place since I was a young staffer here on Capitol Hill. We worked on immigration, and Ronald Reagan signed amnesty for $3 million.
That must have been about 200 years ago.
You know, it's interesting you bring up Reagan's amnesty in '86. You know, part of that deal was to actually build border wall and secure it. But the Democrat Party refuses to build border wall. You oppose it every single time. Is that your position? Do you now support border walls?
There has been many times when bipartisan legislation is presented to this body, and people just walk away from it. They refuse to do the hard work of governing that governors like us have to do every single day. When I leave here, I'm going to go home and govern a state. I'm not going to tweet about this experience because I have too much work to do taking care of New Yorkers. And
You're really not doing a good job, Governor Hochul, because a lot of New Yorkers are actually coming into my state. In Florida, many of them, they come all the time because they actually want to come to a state that is well run, that protects citizens, does not allow illegal aliens to victimize citizens like they are victimized in the state of New York, like they are victimized in the state of Illinois, like they are victimized in the state of Minnesota. They choose states like Florida and Texas to find safer places to live and raise their families. Hold on, Governor Hochul. We've had enough time.
Crime rates are much lower.
Also, it's super funny to say what she's about to say, but I'm actually born and raised in Florida. I now live in South Carolina. It is unbelievable the amount of people that are coming from northern and western states, or all of these lefty states, to places like Texas, South Carolina, Florida. People are just sick and tired of living in the cities. I myself lived in Philadelphia for many years, and I just couldn't hack it anymore. I was just exhausted of it, especially with all the COVID things happening. It just destroyed so many of the fun things about these cities, but also, I mean, look at what's happening in California. That kind of stuff happens all the time. I literally got punched in the face in Philadelphia after Donald Trump won, and I didn't vote for him. I wasn't wearing red. They were just protesting, rioting, right? And they were just rioting through the streets, and a bunch of dudes attacked me going, "You're a effing Trump." They called me a Trump because I was a white man walking on my way to my awful server job that I made little money at. I lived in a very poor part of town because I didn't have much money. Yet I was a Trump. I didn't vote for the guy. You tell me what the problem is.
You've been sitting over there pretty quiet. I got a question for you.
I love to talk. Thank you, Congressman.
Fair enough.
And she said, by the way, our crime rate is much lower. BS.
You said earlier that the ICE agents under the orders of President Trump are a modern-day Gestapo. Do you realize how disgusting a phrase that is, considering the history of Nazi Germany? Would you like to recant that statement?
What I said, Congressman, and I have a long history of supporting law enforcement, I said President Trump was using them as his modern-day Gestapo, not identifying who you are, coming up in unmarked vans, taking people away and giving...
Is it the responsibility of ICE to actually deport illegal aliens in the United States who are here? Isn't that their responsibility?
Yes, it is, Congressman, except that the Constitution is not an inconvenience. It's not an either-or.
Nobody said an inconvenience. You have a responsibility to deport illegal aliens, and the president is going through that process right now. And let's be very clear, the previous administration, they abused every process there is under border laws to allow more than 10 million people into the country illegally. And this is a burden on all Americans. And so the president is doing his job. So it is sick to refer to Americans who are ICE agents as Gestapo. Governor, you're wrong. You need to apologize to these agents. They're doing their jobs. They are Americans. They serve this country with honor and decency and respect. Do not diminish their work simply because you tried to make a cheap point that you could tweet. I yield back.
And I think Byron Donaldson says it all. They are trying to make cheap points. They're going after Donald Trump for all of these things that they were so proud of Obama for recently. But I would love to know your thoughts here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you in the next video.